Hello and welcome to the March 2019. Oh, I muted myself. Good start. Welcome to the March 2019 Sunshine Summit. And I think hopefully it's going to come through fine. It looks like it's a bit janky. I don't know. Let me know if it's coming through okay. But my name is Heather and I am the host of the March 2019 Sunshine Summit. It's a week of live streams to celebrate connections with incredible content creators that I've had the chance to get to know. It's really important to celebrate. It's streaming smooth. I don't even know what's happening in the chat at the moment. Sorry for getting derailed.
I don't either. Smooth. Okay.
Okay, good. We're here to celebrate connections. It's really important to recognize them. They've helped us get here on our journeys, and it's important to chat with everyone here in the live chat. It's a live event. So share the event, come along, hang out, ask questions, and we've got a few games to play today. So that's really exciting. I am also grateful to be joined by Paul Csomo, who is the host of, or co-host of the Varmints podcast, and he joined us for March 2018. So thank you and welcome, Paul.
Hi, thanks for having me. Sorry I talked over your introduction. We were both confused by the word smoot in the chat.
Yeah. It all fell apart because I muted myself because that's live streaming professional. But
we're off to a good start. Hey, you know what? These just don't come together like you just don't slap these things together in a day, and you've done 3 of them. And so I think that is heroic, and I think that is remarkable, and I admire you for doing these things because, you know, they're not easy. They take a lot of time and they take a lot of coordination, and that's why I love being here so much. Also, I love you. But I thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me, Paul. And you're someone that I have an amazing connection with. It was awesome to have you as part of the very first Sunshine Summit back in March 2018. I can't believe it's been a whole year since then. And a lot of amazing things have happened along the way. So we're going to celebrate some really cool things that have happened since we last talked. If anyone hasn't seen our chat from last year, I do recommend you go back and check it out, because there we talked about some of the sort of foundational connection stories that Paul has with animals, and how he got started with Varmints, and how he met Donna and the Blazing Caribou Studios network, which he is a part of, and it's an amazing place to find other podcasts as well. So yeah, today I want to focus a little bit more on our connection to nature, because that is something that is really important to both of us, and it's like this amazing thing that can do so much for us, particularly around like the mindfulness and things that help and are part of my podcast and are definitely the foundation of your podcast. So for anyone who hasn't listened to the Varmints podcast, they cover animals. And if you want to give your little introduction on Varmints, that would be amazing, Paul.
Oh, yeah. So every week we talk about a different animal, and we give you some general information about that animal. Tim GBR says yeet, and I could not agree more. So we talk about some general information about that animal. We give you some little trivia. We give you where that animal is in pop culture, because, you know, not everybody can go on an African safari or even maybe go to the zoo as often as they want to. So where you see those animals most of the time is on comic books and in movies and stuff. So we do talk about pop culture a lot, which is a lot of fun. And it's just it's not a dry, you know, sort of a university biology student dissertation about animals. So it's a celebration of animals, and we try to make it fun, and that's my show.
Yeah, it's awesome. And there are a lot of animals that you've covered in the past. I managed to pull up some facts on some of the animals that you've covered, and I've got a huge stack of them, from elephants to bats and rabbits, to the bison and possums and all sorts. And then I pulled a couple from New Zealand as well. So there's
Oh, good.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes was on, I think it was parrots, and you did the kakapo, and I think that's about when I joined the Varmints discussion group, which is an amazing place where you bring together your community to talk about the animals that you talk about on the show and other animal connections. Yeah. And what's funny about them is they get drunk on the on the nectar that they drink.
Yeah, they eat those fermented fruits, and they get hammered.
Fruits, yeah. Drunk parrots.
Yeah. And then the rehabilitation The rehabilitation center has to put them in a little birdie drunk tank until they dry out, and they go back out and do it all over again.
Yeah.
It's like the Florida of birds in New Zealand.
They're pretty funny. Yeah, Ducky is in the chat, and Ducky's going to be our guest tomorrow, but you have talked about ducks on the podcast as well.
We did. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Yeah. Ducky's pretty passionate about ducks, and I got looking forward to sharing about how tomorrow with his character that he uses for his streams and things. But have you got, out of the episodes that you've done, a favorite animal episode?
Boy,
Question.
It's hard to pick one. I get asked that question quite a lot, and it's hard to land on a single episode. The one that people really seem to like, and the one that I personally really enjoyed, was the one about opossums, because I definitely had an opinion of opossums going in, and when we were done with the recording, I had, and all the research and the writing, I definitely had a 180-degree different, opinion of those little animals. I think they're really neat. And a lot of other people that listened to the show were like, I didn't realize how important possums were, and, how cool they are. And I just thought they were like big rats. So it's like, it wasn't only me that was like, oh, hey, these guys are all right after all, So, as far as, I guess, the combination of, audience feedback and my own personal satisfaction, I think that would be pretty high up on my list of favorite episodes.
Yeah. There's a few different types of possums too, and we have them here, and they are kind of considered a pest, which is unfortunate. And I think that there's actually a couple of them that were on the endangered species list, and with conservation and things. Yeah. So a couple of them that I have is a leadbeater's possum, mountain pygmy possum, and the mahogany glider, which is kind of like a relative-ish of the possums. So yeah.
Right. Those are actually a completely different animal.
Yeah.
So an opossum with the O in front of it is different than a possum. They're just they're a different species. So we'll talk about possums one of these days. So far, yeah.
Yeah.
But the opossum episode was that was fun. That was really cool.
You've also revisited some other animals as well. You've sort of done an episode and then come back and looked at them later. So you'll do a whole separate episode on possums.
We might. Yeah. We might. We'll see how it goes. We did 2 episodes about chickens because we just didn't do those birds enough justice the first time. So we did another episode about chickens, which was a lot of fun because we had listeners and other podcasters tell us their stories about keeping chickens. And both of those episodes were a lot of fun to do.
That's cool.
I don't know if we've ever revisited any other animals. I think we've done podcasts where it was like different little rodents like that you couldn't make an entire episode out of. So we took 4 or 5 of them and then just talked about them in that episode. Or like little tiny monkeys. We did an episode where we talked about 4 or 5 different types of little monkeys. But I think the only animal we've revisited and done a completely new episode on was chickens so far.
Okay. Cool. And the one that you did recently was on yaks, which was awesome because as soon as I saw that one, all I thought about was the Yakety Yak song.
Yeah. A few people said that to me, and you have to. I mean, what else are you going to talk about with the yaks? And I love that song. I love that song growing up. My aunt had a record collection, and that was one of the little 45s, and it was Yakety Yak. And I remember being a kid and just playing that over and over and over again on her record player.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that.
Yeah. I love that you do that in the Varmints podcast. You share like a news story, something related to them, and then you share the pop culture thing. So in the yak one you had about the base layers of clothing that we're using yak wool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also had the Yakety Yak, which was something that I remember from childhood and was really fun. And then there was the TV show. Was it a whole show or just a short series? Yakety Yak?
It was a TV show that didn't really make it over here in the United States. I guess it had a little more a little more traction in Australia.
Okay.
And it was just it's a bizarre cartoon, and it's so funny.
Yeah. It's definitely different, and it kind of reminds me of other things too. Like if with bears, there's what's the famous bear? This is terrible. I've got a mind blank.
There's a few. There's like Yogi Bear.
That's it, Yogi Bear. It was a simple one. But yeah, how you break Smokey the Bear?
Smokey the Bear, yeah. That's that it prevent forest fires. That's the mascot for preventing forest fires.
Yeah, and Mark said, "Hey, boo boo."
Hey, boo boo. Let's go out and get us some picnic baskets.
Yeah. I love how you
Angry Ducky says he had a chicken today, but it was tasty, so it was not a live chicken.
No.
And Eldest Bro says we have a chicken and are looking at getting 5 more. I would love to keep chickens.
I don't have any chickens, and I live in the countryside, but my neighbors do, and so I'm very grateful that we get some eggs from them from time to time.
You have everything else. I'm shocked that you don't have chickens, honestly. You have fruit trees, and you have animals, and you have cats running around, and you have an orchard, and you're living like you're living in like a Nintendo Harvest Moon game, and it's awesome, and I'm envious of it. And you don't have chickens. I think it's amazing.
Chickens.
And you have chickens where you live? Like there are chickens, right?
Yeah, there are chickens. My neighbors have chickens. I just don't have them.
Yeah, Stardew Valley, Mark D. She's living in a real life Stardew Valley.
I do have some cows and calves, so they're in the back paddock at the moment, chewing the grass down, and I've got a couple of sheep which roam around. And one of my connection that I'm talking to on the finale day is Chris Osborne, and I know that Kaylee, his wife, is really passionate about sheep. So I'm sure that'll come out at the end of the week.
Cool.
Yeah. Very excited and lucky to be out here and have the opportunity to have all that space and stuff. But you also have a garden, Paul.
I attempt to grow things.
Yeah.
I do. I have, in the last year, I found like a basically foolproof way to sprout avocado seeds, and I've had a lot of success with that. And even though it takes a long time for an avocado tree to grow and then actually give you avocados, it's very rewarding to grow those, and they grow fast once they take off. I attempted to grow some vegetables this year, and it didn't really go so well. And about a week ago, somebody decided that my mailbox did not need to exist anymore, and it was probably some bored kid. So we got a new mailbox, and we put some like brick around the bottom of it. And so today, I was putting dirt and flowers and mulch into that little brick part around the mailbox, so we have a nice little, suburb-looking, pretty little mailbox with the little flowers underneath it, and it's really nice. And hopefully those kids will take it out in somebody else's mailbox, because I want to enjoy this one for a little while.
Yeah, yeah. And you were.
But yeah, I do like.
You go.
Oh no, I do like. I'm not very successful at planting things, but I do like doing it, and I do have like what I call compost therapy, where I have a little bin with compost in it in the backyard, because we compost our waste. I don't know, maybe you do that too. And it's just a big plastic bin, and I toss it all in there, and it, once it breaks down, it smells really nice. And so if I have something weighing on my mind, or I have a problem that I'm trying to work out, I will frequently just go out there and take off my ring and take off my watch and just put my hands in the compost and just turn the compost manually.
Yeah.
And just getting your hands in the dirt and in the earth, and then turning it and then smelling it and all that. It's just like something about it just calms your mind down and helps you focus on the problem.
That's awesome.
Or on the thing that is weighing on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's compost therapy, and it helps me.
That's awesome, Paul. And you have created something that's nutrient rich that you're going to be giving back to the garden too, which is amazing.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. It's almost as rewarding when you have good compost that you can plant stuff in. That's almost as rewarding as, and it sounds weird, but it's almost as rewarding as like growing up something that you can eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the ultimate recycling.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't really have to have a lot of space to do it. You just have to do it, and you just have to know how to do it so that your home and your yard doesn't smell bad, basically.
Yeah. Keep it contained. And
do you do that where you are?
Yeah, we have compost and we do recycling as well. And I don't have a big garden because I am not actually a green thumb and I don't terribly enjoy doing that. But I've also got a lot more landscaping that needs to get done here. So it's kind of like a work in progress, a very slow one. I have a lot of wildflowers planted along a sort of a border garden, which is really amazing. And I love the pretty colors that just appear there. And it kind of is self-sustaining in a way. I've kind of gone down the route of, even with the orchard, it's kind of, I've described it as survive or die before, which is a bit extreme. It's definitely organic though, because it is left to its own devices, but it's really awesome that way because the fruit, it's good to eat and it doesn't have any chemicals and that on it. And we've had a really good crop this year. So I have pears and apples, nashi pear and prune plums and a huge tree of peaches, which is, I'm excited to eat them when they become ripe very shortly. And yeah, it's
That's
amazing.
awesome. You share them with the neighbors too?
Yeah, I do, because there's actually now
Yeah.
to the point where I have too much that I could use or deal with, even if I stew them or bottle them or
Right.
freeze them. Yeah, so I definitely share them around, which they're all very grateful for.
That's nice.
Yeah. And just this week, it's been busy, and this is, like you said earlier, this is a big thing to put together. So one thing about something that helps me is making sure that I do get out and connect with nature regularly. And I managed to spend some time out there yesterday, and I was feeling a little bit stressed and excited and nervous for today. And I managed to catch a little bee in a beautiful little blue flower, and I put it on social media because it was awesome. And I said, "Have you heard the buzz?" and tied it to your thing. But he was covered in pollen, and it was just so cool to see that and to capture that and just to watch him do his work yesterday. It was amazing.
Yeah, and probably the thing about that was it got you out of your own head at least for a couple of seconds and not worried about how this was going to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is awesome.
I think
that's what it does for me. Just going out there and planting flowers around my mailbox. It was like at that moment, nothing else mattered. Like you can just kind of put everything else away, and I could stop being nervous about talking to you right now and just plant these flowers.
Yeah. And then over time, did you plant seedlings or seeds?
No, not seedlings. Very, very small plants that hopefully will take off.
Yeah.
And like you said, survive or die. Once the roots get established and I've watered them a few times, hopefully they'll just kind of keep going.
Yeah.
They're perennials, so they shouldn't be too much trouble.
Cool. That's awesome. So they have different colors as well? Multicolored?
Yeah, they're like orange and yellow. I don't remember what kind of flowers they were. They're perennials. They look nice, so just chuck them in the ground and see how they do.
Add a bit of water, and hopefully the sun will come out and help them grow.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome.
See what happens.
Yeah. One thing on the whole topic of things that help us along the way, if anyone has any stories of their favorite fruits, foods, gardening experiences, or animal connections that they have, that would be amazing to share that with us. Or if you've got a favorite episode of the Varmints podcast, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I have a downtime dice here, and a couple of people have ended up with one of these as well. But I wanted to just roll it, and it has like a little prompt on each side of the die to come up with an idea of a way of taking some downtime, stepping away and sort of looking after yourself. So I'll give it a roll, and it's landed on creativity. So creativity. Is there a way that you like to be creative, Paul?
I mean, I guess the boring answer is my podcast is my creative outlet right now, because editing the audio is a very, creative experience for me. And a lot of podcasters don't like to edit. I like to edit. Creativity. I like to sketch. I like to draw. My job actually allows for a little bit of creativity, which is nice. But I've always been an artist, and I've always painted or drawn or sculpted or attempted to play music or do something that expresses me, and do something that's an outlet for me. And right now that something is podcasting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, a little fun show about animals. It's the way I kind of create a thing and put it out into the world, and hopefully people like it.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah.
I
wish I could, I wish I could say, I painted the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel, even though another guy did that. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, podcasting is basically my creative outlet right now. That's 90% of my creativity goes into that.
Yeah. I think that will probably be a theme throughout these events because I'm connecting with content creators. So inherently, we're all creating something. And it's awesome that you are passionate about it. And I think that's a connection that you really need to hold on to is your why you're passionate about it and what it does for you, because so it doesn't become the chore and the hassle and the not such a good thing or a bit of a drag or whatever. It's going to be challenging. It's not going to be easy. That's not, yeah. But
yeah, no, once I stop enjoying doing the podcast and it becomes like a job or a chore, then I'll, that'll be it. But this has been one of the most rewarding hobbies I've ever had, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the most rewarding hobby I've ever had.
And with that, there are lots of people connecting with it too. And last year, you actually had a lot of people connect with it and vote for your podcast, and it won an award.
Yep, it did. That was so crazy. I didn't really lobby for it all that hard because okay, they opened up the nominations, and I told my fans, hey, they're nominating. You can go nominate me for an award if you want to. Whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. And then, it was like the Kids and Family Awards. And I'm looking at the list of the other podcasts in there, and they're huge podcasts. They're really super popular. And I'm in there with them. And I won. I mean, I woke up, it was like Thursday or Friday morning, whatever it was. And I went into work and I have all these messages going, congratulations, congratulations. I'd forgotten about the awards because I figured somebody else was going to win. And I had no idea what they were talking about for a minute. And they were like, you won the award. And I was like, what? Like, that's not right. And I went to the website and I stared at it for like 2 minutes going, oh, I guess I won that award. Wow.
Yeah.
That was, excuse me. That was a mind blower. And people ask me what I won for that award, what I have to show for it.
Yeah.
And the answer is imposter syndrome. It's nice. What I actually won was exposure. That exposure is worth more than gold when you're a podcaster.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think to this day, like a couple of months ago on my Twitter account, I put a little trophy after my podcast name, and I even feel weird doing that. Like that. I've gone back and forth on whether I need to change that or not, because that feels so foreign to me.
Yeah.
It still hasn't, in some ways it still hasn't sunk in, like, because I still do the podcast and I still think, who's listening to this? There's nobody gonna listen to this.
Apparently there's a few people.
A couple of people, yeah, it's pretty nice. But yes, imposter syndrome sucks.
It sure does. It sure does. I don't even know if I've got like a way of working through that. I just have to take it as it comes, because you can get it at so many different points throughout your journey. I have it every time before I launch this thing. Sometimes I have it before every podcast episode of mine gets launched. Did
I ever share with you that quote about imposter syndrome from Neil Gaiman?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And basically, he was standing there with Neil Armstrong, the first man on the moon, and Neil Armstrong was saying, "Why am I here? What do I have to do with any of these wonderful people who've, done awesome things and created things?" And it's a Neil Armstrong, if he can have imposter syndrome, of course we're all going to have it.
Yeah, yeah. But we managed to push past these things, and I really appreciate that you're here and live streaming with me.
I love being here. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you also did a live stream previously, and you connected with something in your live stream.
I did. Do you want me to tell the story then?
Yes, please.
I'll take a drink of water.
Okay.
So we did an episode about scorpions a while back. And in every episode, we talk about whether we think we would be able to eat that animal. And sometimes the question is, it's a clear yes or a clear no. Like when we talk about, say, chickens. Of course, we're eating chicken. or if it's like an animal that's endangered or something that you just wouldn't eat, like a jellyfish or something, of course it's going to be no. But sometimes some of these animals fall into the gray category, especially for me, because I'm pretty adventurous for what I eat. So we were doing this episode about scorpions, and it came to the part where we were talking about, would we eat scorpions? And Donna said absolutely not, because she doesn't eat bugs. And I said, yeah, maybe I would. Maybe I would try a scorpion. Like, why not? And she basically dared me. She said, you would not eat a scorpion. I want to see you eat a scorpion because I don't think you're going to do it. So I took that as a challenge, and I did a Facebook Live video. It's still on YouTube, where I ate scorpions, and I bought a tin of scorpions for myself, and then a Patreon supporter also bought me a tin of scorpions. So I ate 2 tins of scorpions, which I think were 4 or 5 scorpions on that Facebook Live video, and I was answering questions along the way and talking to people, and that was great. That was a lot of fun. I wasn't sure how it was going to go over. I wasn't sure who was going to show up, but turns out a lot of people like watching me eat things, especially if they're gross things.
Yeah.
I would not eat scorpions again.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we got a ton of comments, and we got Patreon supporters because of it, and people were laughing, and people were, still tease me about eating scorpions. So I'm going to definitely do it again. I don't know what I'm going to do, what I'm going to eat next, but it'll be something weird, and we'll do it again. But yeah, as far as connecting with people, that who knew that all I had to do was get on a camera and eat scorpions, but it worked.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to connect with people, eat scorpions, everybody. especially you, Mark D. Just get on the camera and eat a scorpion. Do it.
Mark said he'd probably die before he ate a scorpion. Mark is going to be one of our guests. Yeah, he's going to be one of our guests later in the week too, which is awesome. Thank you for being here.
Oh, good.
Eldest has eaten scorpions.
Oh, I want to hear that.
Yeah.
I want to hear that story. Was it on purpose?
I am not sure. Ducky's out, but thank you so much, Ducky, for stopping in. It was awesome to have you here, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Mark says, scorpions are pinchy spiders. Definitely not.
The first 2 I ate, the little pointy parts on them didn't bother me. Mm-hmm. But the last 2 I ate, I definitely got stung, like on the tongue and on the inside of my lip. So,
Gosh.
And they didn't taste that good either.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. I'm happy talking to people like this, but I don't know that I could eat scorpions.
You can live vicariously through me as I eat weird things.
Yeah. I was hoping to make that one live, but it was 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning my time. I don't know, but I didn't make it up. Yeah. I slept through my alarm, so I'm sorry about that.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Yeah, and apparently Eldest, one of his friends, had them at school and dared the group to eat them. They weren't as bad. He didn't think they were as bad as he thought they'd be.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a dare for me too.
Yeah. I think
it's a good experience.
Yeah, I think Eldest has a sister and she likes to eat weird things. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eldest. I just wanted to pull up a little thing here on. You did an episode on butterflies, and that was a cool one to listen to because I really like butterflies. When I was younger, I always wanted a butterfly tattoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never got one, but that's something that's been in the back of my mind. I like the blue ones. I'm not sure what they're called.
Yeah, they make like photorealistic butterfly tattoos now too.
Yeah,
they're really cool looking.
Yeah, and that is correct. Eldest sister does do weird foods, tasting weird foods. And the hummingbird is another one that you've captured, which I think are just beautiful. They're really interesting birds. And
very interesting birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, Donna did that with Susie Buttress from the Casual Birder podcast, which I love.
Yeah.
And that was a good episode.
Susie is amazing, and she does that in her podcast. She has casual birding experiences and connects with people and shares their stories too. She was in the summit last year in August, which was awesome to have her there. And you've got on Twitter, there's a group of podcasts that kind of are nature-based. There's yours, Susie's, is it Species podcast? There's Life, Death, and Taxonomy. And there's Corbin Maxey. Yep.
Yeah, who we've had on the show.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of other ones, and I want to share them probably after the stream. I'll do a tweet out and share those as connections.
Yeah, definitely, because they're all people who care about animals and are enthusiastic about them. And if you don't like my show, you can go listen to one of their shows, and maybe that'll be a better fit. You know, I mean, none of us are competing against one another because we all do such different shows that there's going to be something for everybody. Yeah. And I listen to all of them.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love that you all support each other. It's amazing. I think that there are, like you said, different takes on it, and you bring your specific element to it, they bring theirs, and to get more people talking about animals is an amazing thing, and creatures.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, whatever makes you care about animals, whatever makes you want to protect and conserve animals and the habitats that they live in. And if that's not us and it's somebody else, that's great.
Yeah.
That's totally fine with me.
Yeah. Just going back to the yak episode, the fibers there for the base layers. Here in New Zealand, we have merino sheep. And so we have, this is not a plug for them specifically, but I forgot what they're...
Merino sheep are not sponsoring this?
No, unfortunately. They should get on board with that, really.
That is really bad. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Well, that's all right. We'll have you back another time to share more shows. I'm sorry. Oh, boo from Chad.
Oh, we got booed by Chad Backler. Backler goes, boo.
I want to say...
Hi, Chad.
Yeah, hi, Chad. Thank you so much for coming by. It's amazing to have you here. You've been an amazing supporter on Twitter. It was amazing to connect with him. Found my podcast and shared it and shares it regularly. So thank you so much for everything that you do, Chad.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I do not thank Chad enough, but he supports us all the time. When somebody's on Twitter and says, hey, I need an idea for a podcast, man, Chad is just every time including my name on that list. And boy, do I appreciate that. So thank you 1,000 times. Thank you, Chad.
Super Listener Chat. Is that what it's called on Twitter?
I think it is. Yeah. Super Listener Chad.
Super Listener Chad. He's
That's
amazing.
The best.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions for either Paul or I, please do let us know. I'm going to roll the downturn dice again, and we've got Connect. Catch up with friends, or whānau is what we say for family in Māori here in New Zealand. So we've talked a lot about connections. That's what this whole thing is about this week. It's #celebrate connections.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important connecting with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you go to the grocery store and it's a little bit crowded, or, you know, you're in traffic for an hour and you're like, oh, I don't want to see people ever again. But that's not how it works, you know? Like, you go out to a restaurant and you eat a little too much and you don't want to smell food and you don't want to see food and you want to hear about food. But then at 8 o'clock the next morning, you want breakfast, you know? And that's how connections are. And, you know, you need people. No one's an island.
Yeah.
You know, everybody needs some friends. Everybody needs to connect with other humans, because that's how you learn. That's how you expand your mind and learn things about yourself and learn how to talk to other people. And it's those connections, and you can't do without them. Right. So,
yeah, they are incredible.
Yeah. And for somebody that is introverted like myself, it's even harder to make connections because you don't really know where to start. And so, I mean, when I was first getting into podcasting, I didn't know how to make friends with other podcasters. You know, I was having a hard enough time in my daily life making friends with other humans that were right there. How am I going to connect with other podcasters online? And I did what Chad is doing, and what I you know, still try to do to this day. And that was just proactively reach out and tell somebody that I appreciated their work and that I enjoyed what they were doing. And I still do that. I do that on Twitter. I have listening logs that I put out, and those are the podcasts that I've listened to in that day. And that has helped me connect with other podcasters more than anything.
Yeah.
And it's helped podcasters connect to each other, and it's helped listeners to find new shows that they've never heard before. And Chad Fackler says, just got to talk to the peoples. And that's how I did it.
Yeah.
And it actually started on Facebook too. I wasn't subscribed to so many podcasts. And so when I would run out of podcasts at the end of the week, I was in this one Facebook group, and I said, if you're a new podcaster, tell me about your podcast, and I will listen to it, and I will give you some free advice about what I think about it. And podcasters are so hungry for that. Like, please just tell me about my show, and tell me if it sounds good, and tell me if I'm doing everything right. Like, nobody's afraid to hear, the sound quality could be a little bit better. Everybody wants feedback.
Yeah.
So that's how that's a lot of the connections I've made then and continue to this day was just from me saying, hey, let me hear your thing, and I'll tell you what I think of it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And being open that way, if you're open, it helps keep, just pave the way for an open conversation. And you're really genuine in the way that you interact with people. You're really welcoming when people come into the Varmints discussion group, for example, and you welcome them with their favorite gift of an animal to make them feel appreciated.
A lot of fun.
And that you acknowledge them and their interest in animals, which is amazing. So sharing that information and helping give people feedback is a really valuable way of connecting and engaging with someone in a meaningful way.
Yeah. And Elisa Lucas is in the chat room. Hi, Elisa. And this is I'm really looking forward to hearing what she says about making connections, because this is her job, right?
Yeah.
And but for me, it comes down to finding people with a common interest, and then just being brave enough to take that leap of shaking their hand or saying hello or telling them that I like what they're doing. And that's a big deal for some people. That's a big deal for me, is to just take that leap and just to be proactive and say, hey, I'm Paul, how you doing?
Yeah.
Or, hey, I like your podcast, and then, sometimes those relationships don't work out, and sometimes they fizzle out real quick, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes you have friends for 3 years like I have, because you've, told them that you like their thing.
Yeah. Elisa just
said, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, Elisa just said that common ground is all it takes to start a friendship, just one thing. And I was really lucky that she joined us twice last year for both the August and the March and August Sunshine Summits. And it is what she does, and she is really passionate about connections and friendships, and she's kind of helping encourage people to learn about them so you can love on our friendships more. And it's sometimes they don't always go the way we want to, and it's about working through those as well.
Yeah, that's how friendships are. They come and go, and they fade in and out, and sometimes they fade back in again, and then sometimes they fade out for good, and then some are really strong and then just disappear. And it's, but you have to have them, because that's how you learn about yourself, and that's how you learn about other people. And even like toxic, horrible friendships are good in a way, because you learn about yourself and you learn about maybe how you could deal with that thing better next time, or it's kind of negative. I guess we're going down a negative path, but what kind of people you need to stay away from next time.
Yeah, but they're
it's all good. Connections are all good. Even when they're bad, they're good. It's like pizza, which Blandrew says, here's a question for both of you. What's your favorite type of pizza? And I don't want to let that get by.
Yeah. You can, and on the topic of friendships, you can have pizza with friends. Makes it better. Pizza party?
Yeah.
Have you got a favorite flavor pizza?
I shared a pizza last night with my best friend, who is my wife. And we went out for pizza, and we had one of the best pizzas I've ever had. And it was mushrooms. I got to think. Mushrooms, onions, peppers, one other vegetable, and fried eggplant. They had these little bits of fried eggplant that they put on top, and it was still like crunchy, like a crouton, except it was eggplant. It was so good. It's one of my favorite pizzas ever.
That sounds...
But the only thing I can't think of any topping that I don't like on a pizza. I even like anchovies. I'm that weirdo. I ate scorpion, so of course I'm going to like anchovies on my pizza. But yeah, My favorite type of pizza is the one that's in front of me, and preferably the one that I didn't have to pay for. How about that?
Oh, and sharing it with your best friend.
And sharing it with my best friend, yeah. Elisa likes Brussels sprouts on her pizza. I would totally try that.
I don't know that I could do it. Sorry, Elisa.
What's on your pizza? They have pizza in New Zealand, right?
Yes, we have pizza here.
I'm teasing, and of course you have pizza.
Yeah. Elisa said that they're grilled. And for the question, I'll throw the question back at the chat. What are their favorite pizza toppings or places to eat pizza or who to eat pizza with? I love pizza. Banjo and I have a thing in the Discord for podcastage about that you need emergency pizzas on hand, have them in the freezer just in case you can't be bothered cooking or you just need something fast, pop one in the oven. And so I like pizzas with like meat on them. I like Hawaiian pizza, which is controversial because not everyone likes pineapple on their pizza. I got to have a lamb pizza recently, and I think it had mozzarella and some other stuff, and that was really good. And I also like chicken and cranberry on pizza. So
wait, chicken and cranberry?
Yeah, and camembert cheese is the other thing. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, that's different.
Yeah.
I would try that. Yeah. Cranberry, like cranberry sauce, or
yeah.
Wow.
It's
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yay. Andrew had a pizza to celebrate the launch of the Sunshine Summit. Thanks. For doing
nice.
It. What is pyology, though, eldest? I don't know what that is. You know what that is?
I think he just made that up so that it's an excuse to go eat a lot of pizza, which I support. Go do that, eldest bro.
Do you call them pizza
Make
pies?
Your own... What's that?
Do you call them pizza pies? Or just pizza? Or what do you call it?
No, I think people stopped calling them that in like 1978, and now hipsters are calling them pizza pies again.
Okay.
But I haven't heard it called a pizza pie in a long time. It's just I've only heard it called pizza.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we just call them pizzas here, and apparently it's kind of like Subway, but for pizza. Pyology is. There you go. Elisa's mum says no to cranberry, but yes to green olives. I could do olives on a pizza.
I did not know cranberry was a thing until today.
Yeah. Cranberry, chicken, and camembert. Again. Yeah, you need the camembert too. It's good.
Yeah.
Chad likes rapid fire pizza, spinach crust, no carbs, white sauce, sausage, mushroom, goat cheese, sun-dried tomato, olives. I would eat that. That sounds yum.
Spinach crust?
Yeah.
I'm confused about that. Like instead of pizza crust, you just put it all on some spinach? Chad, that's called a hot salad. Yep. Yeah, that's a hot salad. It's not pizza. I mean, you can call it pizza if you want to, and it sounds delicious, but, you know.
Everything is pizza. Pizza
taxonomy is important. Yep.
Taxonomy is important. That's awesome. I love that. We'll have to share that one with the LDT team.
Hot salad. This is making me hungry. I did not expect this live stream to make me hungry, but now I'm hungry.
Oh, sorry about that, Paul. We'll have to have something to snack on afterwards. You don't have any scorpions by chance for this one?
No, I'm fresh out of scorpions.
Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I don't have any delicious hoo-hoo grubs or anything that are New Zealandish. I don't know if they're New Zealand. No.
Wait, what are they called?
Hoo-hoo grabs.
Hoo-hoo grabs?
Yeah.
What are those?
Is it the weta larvae? I have to look that up.
Oh, like bug larvae.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I always wanted to try one of those. It was a big surprise, right? No, I've always really wanted to try one of those.
That just reminds me of the Lion King with like Timon and Pumbaa, and they're eating the bugs out of the log.
Yeah. And people like watch that movie and go, ew, gross. And I'm like, wonder if that'd be any good.
Oh. Welcome, John. Good to have you here. No worries about it.
Hi, John.
Yeah, timing. It's awesome to have you. We went from pizza to bug larvae. That's how this rolls.
That's what you get when you talk to me sometimes. We're going way off the rails here with pizza and bug larvae.
Yeah. Have we got a connection for getting outdoors? Because Elder said he rolled that earlier, which is we're jumping around a bit, but Larvae's outdoors and yeah. You went outdoors this morning and you were doing the gardening thing, but have you got a favorite place that you go to, Paul? I noticed a while back that you were tweeting about how you went to the beach or something and you just sort of spent some time out there, and that was a wee while ago, but I'm just, yeah. Have you got a favorite outdoor space?
Yeah. We're about 10 minutes from the Gulf of Mexico, which is really, really nice. So if we have the time and we can go down to the beach, it's not an all-day affair. We can just go down there and spend an hour or two. I like to go for sunset, and that's really nice. Back in August, on the week you were having your last Sunshine Summit, which I tried to get you to change the date, and you wouldn't.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I knew you couldn't. But it was our 25th wedding anniversary. And we went up to High Springs in Florida. And there's rivers up there that are fed by freshwater springs. And they're really, really cold. It's one of the few places in Florida where you can swim and kayak and have fun in fresh water without worrying about alligators and snakes and things like that. Because it's simply too cold for them to live in that water. But it looks like something that Disney World built. It is so beautiful, and the water is so blue and clear, and you can't believe it's a real place. So that might be one of my favorite places on Earth.
That's amazing.
High Springs, Florida. Yeah, I have pictures up on Facebook, and I can maybe put them in somewhere where everybody that is involved with the Sunshine Summit can see them, because it's really, really amazing there.
That's cool. And what an amazing place to go for your anniversary. Congratulations, by the way. That's
thank
incredible.
you.
And I'm very sorry I didn't shift the whole Sunshine Summit for you. But
I was teasing you that whole time. You know that.
I know.
I wish I could have shifted my 25th wedding anniversary to be on it.
No. That's awesome. I recently got to go to the beach just a little while ago. It's a bit of a drive for me, so it does become quite a lengthy experience to kind of do that. But I really enjoyed going there. I was meeting up with Dean, who is going to be a guest later in this week, and went to the beach and actually hung out there before I got to meet up with him. And it was just so nice. I've always find it calming. I've got a real affection or affinity with water and the soothing sounds of like a river flowing and the ebb and flow of the tide. And so I think I included that in the Earth Has Music for Those Who Listen, that episode I did on sounds and music sounds lately. So yeah. Yeah. One of my favorite connections.
Definitely. It's nice to have that resource just right there. And people they move here and they go to the beach every single night for like 3 months. And they're like, don't you go to the beach every single night? And we're like, no, we have to live here, But we do try to get there as often as we can, because it's a really nice beach, and we do see like dolphins playing in the surf, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah. Aldous just said, then don't move to where I live because they have a lack of water. I'm sure that I'd be fine with that. I've got a river across the way, but I live by the mountains and I don't actually get to go out and amongst them all that often because I live here and you get busy and things like that. So this year my goal was to do like road trips and to make things happen and to go and see things and do things this year and actually engage with the world around me a bit more. So that's my aim
so
this year. Yeah. And
are there... Oh, go on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I was just going to say the other side of that, though, is the road trip is about being like that, reminding me that this whole year is going to be a journey and there's like different road stops and destinations along the way, whatever activities we're doing, and to kind of remind me that it's not like necessarily a race to get there, but to take my time and enjoy each of those moments as I go along.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Elisa said that her brother lives near Paul and is always bragging about going to the beach.
Yeah, I don't remember where he lives, but it's like really, really close by. I think it's a town or two. Excuse me. It's a town or two over. Yeah. It's super close. Like I could probably drive to his house and take a selfie. Yeah, Naples. I work in Naples.
Cool.
So, yeah. One of these days I'll take a selfie with him and send it to you.
More
find out where he is.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. John said that he's got the mountains in Calgary. They lack the ocean, but they've got beautiful lakes. So, yeah, each place that we're in, I'm not sure how much we take notice or take it for granted. I every day sit and face the mountains when I have dinner. My dining room table is faced that way, so I look out there and actually watch them because the light changes every day depending on
Mm-hmm.
whether the clouds are out or which the sun's setting or whatever or what season it is, and just being in the area that you're in and really noticing it and taking it in for what it
Yeah.
is rather than trying to get hung up on being somewhere that isn't where you aren't, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and my wife and I, we've been to places before where we were, we were like, hey, should we move here? This is really awesome. And then you get kind of back down to earth and you think, okay, well, if we move here, we're going to have a house and we're going to have to work and we're not going to have time to do the thing that we're doing here right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just going to be another thing for us. Like, you just kind of acclimate in the place where you are and you don't take time to appreciate it. And that's what we've been working on. Like a couple of summers ago, we didn't go to the beach as much. And we're like, why aren't we going to the beach? It's right there and it's beautiful. Like, we need to go more often because people move here for this.
Yeah. That's
So-
one thing that I've been doing with Instagram and like is just I don't share my podcast stuff too much there. It is just my connections with nature and I try and do at least one a day to make and I do it I don't know how to like schedule stuff to Instagram. That's so weird and complicated.
I don't either.
So I just do it daily and it's my prompt to get out there and experience something and see something. And yeah, it's been an amazing way of helping me be accountable, I guess, and just making me motivated to do it. And Mark said the Gulf Coast is really chill.
Yep, that's the side of Florida I live on. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And because I have done a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of traveling and, had that moment where I said, I should move here because this is awesome. And then had that other moment where I was like, no, because I'll take it for granted. That's the reason why we have been going to the beach more often. We have been outside more often so that we don't take what we have for granted.
Yeah.
And hopefully everybody around here, everybody on the live stream, everybody listening to this has something really cool close by where they live, where they can go and appreciate it once in a while and just stop what you're doing, stop life, go there and just appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then tell us about it afterwards so we can celebrate that with you and
yeah, take pictures.
Yeah. We've got I'll just do a quick in the Sunshine and Power Cuts Discord server, we have the nature experiences thing, so you can share pictures there. And we've had some really cool pictures and things being shared in there, which is amazing. It's always cool to see different things. So yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has come into the live chat today. It's been amazing to see you there. Elisa, Anthony, Eldest, Mark, John, Andrew, Chad, Panther was there earlier, and Ducky and Adam. If I've missed you, I'm really sorry, but so cool that you were here and participating in this one. We have this. Look at that. These are some of the links that we have to connect with all of Paul's things. You can connect with them on Twitter at Varmints, Facebook at Varmints Podcast. You can connect with them on Instagram at Varmints Podcast. There's the Blazing Caribou Studios.com. And you can search them up on YouTube. You've got the scorpions that you can watch on the YouTube?
On the YouTube channel, yeah.
Yep. And also Patreon. You have a Patreon. And you said that when you had the Scorpions thing, you got some new patrons out of that experience, which is amazing.
Got a bunch of new Patreon supporters from that.
Yeah, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do encourage everyone to go and check everything out that you do. You have the listening logs on Twitter, so if anyone wants to see what you've been listening to, and you managed to listen to a lot, which is incredible.
Yeah. Well, I have a job where I'm at a desk 8 hours a day, and I have to entertain myself so I don't go insane. So I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. But then you do the engagement thing and you connect with people and share that listening log with us. And it's always awesome. It was also awesome. I think one time in our Discord, you'd mentioned that you were listening to mine. And so I was having coffee at the same time or something. It was fun to technically have coffee with you while you were listening.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. So there is that. And just the episodes, check out the podcast and listen to all the different animals, because you might listen to one, have a favorite animal, find it, and then you might learn something about pop culture or the news or anything else that's in it. And then you've got a really cool segment at the end, which we did talk about last time, but the Rugrats section.
Right. Yeah, that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was actually Donna's idea.
Mm-hmm.
She said, hey, why don't we get some little kids to talk about the animals? And I was like, I don't know. And so we did it, and it was like, well, I should listen to Donna more often, because that's one of my favorite segments. We've really had some great kids, talking about animals, and they're funny. They're wonderful. Yeah. Funny, little smart. How can I get a Rugrat on the show? I will email you the details. I would love to.
There you go.
I'll email anybody the details. Any Rugrat can come on the show. I make it super easy to submit audio. So, yeah, I'll get you that email, Elisa, yeah.
That's really cool.
So I keep mispronouncing her name. Sorry, Elisa.
Yeah. And Chad said, preach. I do the same. Lots of podcasts. Like we said, super listener, Chad. Incredible person. Amazing sharing on the social media. So, yeah. Yep. Thank you for all that you do, Chad. You're awesome. And it's been amazing getting to know you. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us today, Paul, and for sharing your connections with nature and mindfulness and the things that you do. Like, I loved the compost thing. That was really, really awesome. Actually reconnecting kind of with the earth and this amazing nutrient thing that you're giving back as well, which, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. This was fun. I've been looking forward to this for a while now. And thanks for your hard work, putting these things together. It's really, really, really cool.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Glad you were here. And come back tomorrow, because we're going to be having Ducky. So we're going to be talking about ducks tomorrow. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Bye, chat. Thanks.